So we're at the Croydon Property Summit 2026 over in the Hilton in Purley Way. I'm giving a speech today, so come with me and let's see how it goes.
Mario Carrozzo from Caridon Group. Please give a big welcome to Mario.
So yeah, I'm Mario and I'm a professional sandwich maker. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a politician, not a planner. I don't have a university degree. But what I do have is I've got 35 years of experience developing property, building businesses and working in partnerships with so many boroughs. And it all started here in Croydon. And I know we're talking about vision today, but for me it's about what it takes to deliver that vision. So my background, I grew up in a restaurant trade. Literally, from the age of 8, I was behind that kitchen sink. Luckily, social service, they weren't around at the time, so I was okay to still work. But, I think I learned a lot about food. In that business, you learn about discipline, you learn about customer service, and generally, if you look after people, they generally come back. And at the same time, my dad used to take me to property auctions, and I was only 11 years of age, and I was hooked the first day I went there. Not just about the properties, but more about the deals that were done and, how you could leverage. And I think I became an investor, not at 18, not at 16, but at 11. So I left school with just a handful of GCSEs, and my school report said, Mario, you ain't gonna amount to much. But I didn't believe it, thank God. When I was 18, I managed to buy my first property. I basically found a clever way of leveraging, or maybe it was just a product of the 90s where, the market was very, very different. So when I moved to Croydon 20 years ago, it was natural for me to go into food. And I opened a little sandwich bar just by East Croydon station. And, I had to get up in the morning, bake the croissants, do the fillings, wash the floors and go home. I didn't set the world on fire, but it was my first start to Croydon. And I was only making about 50 sandwiches a day. And I think I was lucky if I took home 100 quid at the end of the week. But my luck changed. I saw an opportunity in Croydon Council where I went for a tender for the catering. And most people looked at that tender and thought, no chance. But I went for it. And against all the odds, I won that tender. Now, overnight, I went from making 50 sandwiches a day to catering for thousands of people. It's crazy, thousands of people. That was in the town hall, the magistrates' courts, and Deborah remembers me very, very well when I started there. And Croydon gave me that belief. And I think when someone believes in you, it gives you that ability really to believe in yourself. So I think the sandwich bar taught me about customer service, but construction and development taught me how property investment worked, and together I managed to understand the real fundamentals of how to scale any business. So life was good. I thought, I've made it. What could go wrong? And unfortunately, the crash of 2008 came. Everything I'd worked for 15 years, gone. Literally overnight wiped out. The council decided to save costs and do in-house catering. And I was exposed to the property market. I had £20 million of bridging loans and personal guarantees. Everything went. I'm not going to lie. There was mornings that I couldn't get out of bed. I had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old at the time. And I remember sitting in my car thinking, damn, how am I going to go and tell my family I lost everything? And, just those memories never leave me. But I think with failure, doesn't really define you. It's what you do next that counts for you. So what was the turning point, or the twist of fate, call it? There was a friend of mine that was street homeless in 2009, and I helped him find somewhere to live. And I made £50 a month. Now, in the scheme of things, £50 a month, it weren't going to change the world, but it wasn't about the £50. It was, I could see there was a gap that, especially from the private sector, no one wants to help homeless people. And it wasn't about me just giving them a roof. I want someone to begin to believe in themselves again. And that kind of made me remember what I felt like when I had someone believe in me. So for the first time, I really realised that business doesn't have to be just about creating a profit. You can create a purpose. So I started working in Croydon, proving a concept, and I pioneered a lot of the rent guarantees that you see today. And I started off converting a lot of empty buildings, and I think I developed around 300 properties firstly in Croydon. And really I was housing people that the system had written off. This is with no grants, no government funding, just the belief that if there's a problem, someone needs to solve it. And I guess, why couldn't I solve it? So 2014 came, and I thought, you know what, I can take this to another level. So that same sandwich maker for Croydon walked into a hedge fund boardroom in Mayfair with a little business plan, but a real social purpose. And I still find it hard to say this because from where I come from, I walked out of that hedge fund with over £300 million of investment. And this time it wasn't for sandwiches, it was for housing. So today I'm proud to say that Caridon is an award-winning, international recognised group. We recently presented CSR at the House of Lords and supports. We've achieved outstanding Ofsted results in our children's homes. We've created hundreds of jobs locally and housed over 20,000 people, most of them homeless. I really do this because I wanted to be the biggest. I wanted to do it because I wanted to make the biggest difference. So I want to leave a few things with you today. And I think, for me, every opportunity that I kind of started with didn't have a perfect plan. It started with a problem that someone else had given up on. Homelessness, empty buildings, the broken system. So a lot of people saw the obstacles, but I saw opportunity. Not because I was any smarter, but I kind of realised that the value is almost always hiding where others just don't see it. And I think I still believe that Croydon is one of the greatest opportunities in London, not just because of the transport links, the regeneration, but I think it's about the people that work here, the people that build here, and the people that stay when things go wrong. So I want to leave you with the last thing really, and this is not because it's where I built my business. It's because where I rebuilt my life, literally. I think Croydon's future won't be defined by the opportunities it has. It will be defined by the people that's willing to take them. Thank you for your time today.